Hello Internet, my name is Catherine Barsonistas, and you are watching the Gluttonous Geek Presents Munchies and Minis, a Dungeons & Dragons inspired cooking show where I first cook a D&D or tabletop inspired snack, and then work on painting a mini. I've been doing the 52 weeks of D&D fan art challenge by Rain Risa ever since I started streaming back in February. And last week we covered the challenge word healing by making a long rest stew with ham hocks and lentils, rutabaga. It was delicious. This week the challenge word is tiefling. For those who are uninitiated with Dungeons & Dragons, a tiefling is a player character race that you can play, where you're essentially playing a half-demon. So we're talking kind of humanoid character with devil horns or tails or whatever. You get the idea. So, to go off of that theme this week, I am going to be delving in a little bit into material that's both old and new with the Planescape campaign settings, usually within Forgotten Realms, but kind of all throughout the Eberron campaign, as well as pretty much all of D&D's lore. The various outer planes. We have the upper planes and the lower planes. The upper planes we covered with our upper planes trifle, basically kind of a heavenly dish. Tonight we are covering the abyssal planes, which is the lower planes, essentially hell in its various forms. So, we're going to be referencing a little bit of Planescape, as well as the recently released Descent to Avernus. It's D&D, Wizards of the Coast's most recently released campaign module. My good friends at the D4 podcast are going to be starting to run it, I want to say this upcoming weekend. But it turns out, according to the Power Score's great list of D&D food, there's food listed in Descent to Avernus. I was kind of vacillating a little bit between doing the kippers in port wine sauce. Kippers are essentially piranhas. Piranhas apparently taste like really, really fishy salmon. We're not doing that because you probably don't have too many fish fans in your D&D group, but also it's a little bit more expensive than you're probably going to want to go for on a simple game night. The other idea was roasted warthog with pepper and paprika, and I thought about doing that too, but it seemed a little too simple doing a pork chop just with pepper and paprika, so we're going to be referencing earlier stuff through the outer planes, especially the lower ones, by making a Fiendspice curry. Now, Fiendspice is a collection of spices found in the abyssal planes where they're kind of spicy and kind of tend to wreck humans' digestive systems. That's okay, because we're not going to do that unless you really want to. We're going to be holding back on the spices. We're going to be making a red curry pork with onion, sweet potato, and mushrooms. And we're going to be kind of combining the sort of mixture between Indian tikka masala as well as a Thai red curry. So you get a little bit of those flavors with heavy notes on black pepper, smoked paprika, and ground ginger. Why those spices? Well, as I referenced earlier with the roasted warthog, you got your pepper and paprika. So smoked paprika tastes a little bit like bacon. You get that smoked flavor appropriate to the several hells, as well as ginger is a root vegetable and a great lifting warmth spice. So we're going to be mixing that with our marinades. So we should probably get started if we're going to have time to cook. So let's go ahead and switch to our prep cam here after I take a drink of wine. So, hopefully my mic's coming in loud and clear. Yes, it is. We will be needing approximately, once I actually get it out of the fridge, and for those taking notes at home, this is a good time to start, because after this, the only way you can get the recipe card for this recipe is to either watch this video over and over on YouTube, or you can donate to my Patreon, where I have the the printable PDF recipe cards for all of my Munchies and Minis recipes. And that's pretty much the only place where you can get them other than Ko-Fi the week I happen to post it up. So, eventuality, Patreon, spend $5 a month and you can get about, well, currently there's about, this is the 29th recipe. I'm not sure how far back Patreon goes back with its posts, but currently you can get about 29 recipe cards if you happen to donate to my Patreon. So, right, so we've got about, we got a whole pork tenderloin here. It is about 2 pounds, like 2¼ pounds. We're probably, like, aim for about 2.5 pounds. This will probably feed about 6 people total with room for seconds. I'm not going to try to go too heavy with it, but there you go. So we need to get slicing that. And for that, I'm going to be using one of my cutting boards that has this nice little lip around it, so I don't have all these juices going here, there, and everywhere. And you will also need a gallon-sized storage bag, because we are in fact going to marinate all of this in a wee bit. Though I'm going to drain this over the sink just to make things a little easier for myself. So let's just open that up with a steak knife, since I can go directly into the dishwasher. Whew. See, I'm probably fine with only going about half of that, but what the hell. We will do the full. Two and a quarter pounds. When it comes down to it, you're going to have leftovers. And if you do, oh no, that's lunch for the rest of the week that you don't have to cook. You, in fact, get several meals out of one batch. You're welcome. So I'm just going to cut that into about inch-thick pieces once I can get this stupid fly out of my kitchen. I promise you my kitchen's much cleaner than this. Well, than it appears. It's clean. Don't mind me. It's October here, but the weather and animals and insects all seem to think that it's still July. So, buzz off. Okay. So yeah, I'm just going to cut those into roughly about inch-large hunks, because this is all going to cook and simmer down anyway. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you want it generally around the same size. This will also allow the marinade to penetrate the meat a little bit more. And it looks like I need to take a bit of silver skin off, so I'm just going to cut that off real quick. Get some of this excess fat off of this, because that's going to be a pain in my side. Cut that little bit off. Don't need it. And now you don't want to remove all the fat, but this stuff tends to be a little bit more tough than fat. Okay. It's actually called silver skin. It's the membrane that you're going to find on some of these pieces. So, oh wow, that just cuts through like butter. Nice. All right. Yeah, I think that's gonna just melt in your mouth once it cooks in that curry. Looking forward to it. There we go. All right, there's one handful. Just gonna drop that into our bag. And trim what's left of this. Yeah. And yeah, of course, I mean, feel free to do this at least, a couple hours before you decide to cook. That's a nice thing about doing something that gets marinated. Just do this the night ahead of time with all the vegetables and meat and everything. That way, all you really have to do the following day, at about a half an hour before you plan on serving your gaming party, you can just take it out of the fridge and get it simmering. And the reason why I didn't do that for tonight is because I wanted you to see the prep work that goes into this dish. So, for those just joining us, I've got about 2¼ pounds of pork tenderloin right here. You could probably go about 2 pounds. I mean, it really depends on how many people you're cooking for. I mean, you just want a whole pork tenderloin. And depending on the demographic of where you live, I happen to live in a very predominantly Jewish neighborhood. You can get this stuff on sale pretty easily. Or, get a bunch of 1-inch thick pork chops if they happen to be on sale and cube it up like I'm doing. Though, if you're not feeding that many people, feel free to just use about half of it and put the other into a gallon bag. Feel free to stick it in the freezer. If you have a sous vide machine, these things are especially great because you can cook them from frozen. Especially if you stick it in marinade at a time. You can cook it from frozen inside the bag. It just takes twice as long as your recipe is going to be calling for it on a sous vide. Okay. We're almost done cutting our pork up. Just a few more pieces left. That should be okay. Just going to get that little bit of silver skin off there so it's not too chewy. See how the knife is kind of it resists the knife. And that's why I'm trimming that from there. Because if it resists your knife, it's going to also resist your teeth. and you don't want that. Silver skin is one of those things that doesn't really melt all that easily under a braise. I mean, granted, if you do a sear, you should be fine, but Just toss what's left of these little bits here. Get that off the floor so my cat doesn't eat it. As much as I love my little cat, and I know that she wants tasty things, she loves pork, by the way. Raw pork tenderloin is not really the way to go for your kitty cat. Okay. Whew. All right. Wash my hands and then wash my knife. And you notice that I only have one hand handling the pork, which I know, sounds kind of dirty. As I was doing that prep work, that allows me to have a clean knife handle that makes it easier for them to clean the knife as soon as I finish washing my hands. So just something to keep in mind. Okay. And now I just need to wash this off. That's right, folks. Always wash your chef's knives. Well, hand wash your chef's knives. Yes, wash them, but never put them in the dishwasher. Otherwise, you're going to ruin your knife. Okay. All right. And also, while drying, make sure to get the edge side up as you draw a towel over it. That way, you don't have it possibly going through the towel and slicing your hand. I know this from experience, unfortunately. All right, where is... I can still use that one. All right, so you see here I've got my big bag of pork. Giggity. Next up, it's time to get slicing on my vegetables. So, I've got 2 sweet potatoes. I'm going to chop up one and see if I still need the other one. But I also need to peel it, which I think my peeler is in the dishwasher, which everything is clean, so it works out for me. Oh boy, haha, here we are. I'll just prop that open so it can dry a little bit more. All right. So a quick way of peeling vegetables, keep the bottom end on your board, and then just kind of rotate the root vegetable on the board as you peel. Okay, it looks like I'm going to have to do the same thing from this side too. All right, there's one. And I'm just going to get this also into about inch thick chunks. So I'm kind of cutting it into planks, then hunks. Just gonna put this out of the way so I don't accidentally slice it. Okay. It just occurred to me that I left my note sheet with my recipe over here, so let me just go get that for a second. And I think a single sweet potato should be enough, but determine that as soon as I get the other stuff cut up. So now for those taking notes at home, keep in mind 1.5 to 2 1/4 to 5 pounds pork tenderloin. Ideally, you want to have to be around 2 pounds. Just buy a whole pork tenderloin. So I'll also write that down as well. Then I got that. I have a ginormous red onion that I need to get my stock bag out for because that's a lot of peel and layers. So another thing I do on this blog, well, on the show, or just in cooking in general, is that whenever I work with any kind of vegetables with flavorful peels like onions or garlic or shallots or anything, I don't count as sweet potatoes because sweet potatoes don't really have much flavor in the peels themselves. Rutabaga a little bit, but you don't want to use rutabaga because it's waxed. Onion, however, there's a lot of flavor in that peel, so you're not going to cook with it, or are you? I put it into a freezer bag with meat bones. I've got a ham hock, what's left of the ham hock from last week in there, as well as 2 ribeye bones from dinner tonight with my husband. We decided to have a little bit of an impulsive steak night, as in my husband's going, I'm craving steak. And like, I accept your craving for steak. Why don't you pick us some steak on the way home? And he did. 2 delicious ribeyes, bone-in ribeyes, mind you. So not only did we have a nice, delicious single steak dinner, as in that's all we ate, we also have bones to make a very flavorful stock later on once this bag is full of various peelings and other things. So carrot peel, celery ends, garlic peels, the little wilty bits off of onions that you don't really want to use, that are still kind of good, just, not as part of your dish. Yeah, stick that into a freezer bag, and once it's all full, you gradually fill it. Once it's all full, put it into a crock pot, fill it with water, cook it for 8 hours, and then you'll get about 10 to 12 cups of delicious, delicious homemade stock. That's 1/2. And I need to take what's off this side as well. Probably only need about half of this onion because it's so ginormous, but I'm going to cut off that section since we don't need it. And I'm going to use this side first. I can always put this into an onion saver later. It should last me a little bit longer than this side, so I'm just going to keep the root end intact as I chunk this into quarters on a radial edge like this. Though I might even go a little bit further than quarters because this onion is so freaking huge. I would just want kind of roughly 1 inch, 1.5 inch thick slices, so there we go. And the reason for that is that I want this to cook all relatively at the same speed. So now that's done. There we go. And chunk that onion, chunk it real good. Yeah! Thanks, Abe. Oh gosh. I'm chunking it. I'm chunking. Right. So yeah, it looks like I'm gonna need about half of this onion because there's a lot of stuff in there. So, you know, waste not, want not. Let's just go get my onion saver out. Providing that I didn't leave it in the fridge. Maybe it's in here. Aha! Onion saver. So this thing might actually be too large for it. We'll make it work. It's not ideal. We'll use another quarter of an onion. There we go. Looking forward to the party. Hopefully the unemployment situation will be resolved by then and we'll be all in the clear. Dude, I totally get you. And best of luck with that. Because, yeah, I am currently waiting on a phone call myself for this content specialist job with this company I really want to work for. At first, I'm like, I don't know if I want to work full-time again, but the benefits are pretty darn amazing, and the pay starts out with what I was making after 6 years of my last full-time job. So I'm like, you know, I was on the fence when you first called me, but now I want this job. Like, send me that stupid writing assignment so I can prove myself to you, so I can help you out with whatever, and hopefully they're not watching this. No, I just, well, thank you so much, Laughing Underwater. Okay, yeah, alright, time for mushrooms. So sweet potato I chose for this dish because sweet potato goes very well with curry in general. For those just joining us, which I guess would be you guys, both of you guys, today's theme word of the 52 weeks of D&D challenge is tiefling. For those who are uninitiated with D&D lore, a tiefling is a player race, as in people who play in the game can play this particular race, where you are half human or other humanoid race, half essentially demon or devil, one of the denizens of the abyssal plains. So, your beautiful blog was an example enough for him. Shame, shame. No, it's supposed to be a rewriting assignment because the work is essentially writing form letters, like chat messages, FAQs, essentially a lot of internal communication stuff, as well as manuals for their customer support center. So it's that stuff I can do in my sleep. I don't mind. It's a kind of stuff that doesn't wear me out. Doesn't wear out my creative side, thank goodness. That I can do full time without, just wanting to die. Okay, so I've got I know all of this is going to cook down quite a bit, so I might use about half of these. So roughly about 4 ounces of button mushrooms. So as I was saying, so I was kind of inspired by 2 different things for this recipe. I'm making what I'm calling a Fiendspice curry. So there's this blog post that I get a lot of my D&D food reference from. It's called Power Score's Great List of Food and Drinks. They recently updated it with lore from the D&D's newest module, Descent into Avernus. And 2 of the dishes I noticed. One I was very tempted to do, but it would have been a pain in the butt and just too expensive, was broiled kipper with a port wine reduction. Now, a kipper is essentially the Underdark and Abyssal Plains version of a piranha. Piranhas, I looked up, apparently taste like a really, really fishy salmon. And, yeah, for one, the episode would have been done like that. We would have been broiling the salmon in about 5 minutes, and the port wine sauce would have reduced to over 20. Imagine that would have been delicious, it's also pretty expensive. The other thing from Descent to Avernus that looked interesting was a pepper and paprika. Goodness, am I going to have room to put my, what's it called? Marinade in. Probably should have put the marinade in first. Yeah, well, we'll just do this. Put it up to the top. Or I can just put all my veggies into a separate bowl. That makes more sense. Let's do that. So that means you have lots of time for painting. Yeah, about a half an hour to marinate. Well, for this too. But yeah, it's a pepper and paprika warthog, roasted warthog. And I'm like, okay, pork chops with pepper and paprika. I get it. That would be cool. But at the same time, it also would have taken like no time whatsoever. And why do you need a recipe from me to just put paprika and black pepper on some pork chops and then roast it in the oven? Nah. But then I decided to go for some other Abyssal Plains references with it. Yeah, we're just not going to marinate the vegetables all that much, or really at all, because I've got too many that I need to. I only have like one thing of yogurt, so we're going to be altering the recipe I made up this morning. Oh no, anything but that. That's the nice thing about cooking, it's kind of flexible. I'm just going to stick that over there. And go ahead and make up my marinade so I can get that going while I cut up the rest of these vegetables. So, yeah, there's another thing referenced in the lower plains called Fiendspice, which is a collection of various spices, you know, found in the several hells that aren't too kind on humans' digestive systems. So I'm thinking, oh, it's got to be spicy. So I'm like, okay, what would a Fiendspice curry taste like? Let's see, I mean, curry sounds amazing too. I've been eating basic lately. Had barbecue chicken ramen the last 3 nights. That also sounds pretty darn delicious, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, let's, all right, so for those taking notes at home, here's the final decision on the measurements for these veggies. So you're going to have about 4 ounces of button mushrooms quartered. So half of one of these little thingies. Why is my... Let's see, got to throw the Reaper into it, make it not human friendly. Yeah. So what I am doing is I'm going to take that that pepper and paprika idea into my main marinade, which I'm going to be doing kind of a tikka masala, kind of a tandoori tikka masala style, by marinating the meat in a yogurt-based marinade. And since, you know, we have kind of a lot of associations with the underworld and Hades and all that, we're going to use a Greek yogurt base. Also, it's a little easier to find a 7-ounce container of Greek yogurt that's not just 0% fat. So, right, notes at home. We had about this one's about a 2 1/4 pound pork tenderloin, so you just need a whole pork tenderloin. I want to say 1 medium or large, or medium red onion cut into 1-inch pieces. 1 sweet potato, same, and see 4 ounces of mushrooms quartered. Cool. So a pork curry instead of chicken curry, interesting. Yeah, for one, pork is usually associated with being unclean, and Judeo-Islamic cultures, and also in Hinduism as well. So pork being considered an unclean animal seems pretty darn fitting for the Abyssal Plains. Then we're going to make something especially not kosher by combining meat with dairy, by making a Greek yogurt-based marinade. So, cool beans. So this marinade, also a nice thing about dairy products, it tenderizes meat rather gently. So it'll break down rather nicely and caramelize as well, especially those milk solids. This is a 7-ounce container of 2% milk fat Greek yogurt. So 7 ounces. Right, so for my kind of spicy marinade here, I'm going to use 3 spices: smoked paprika, ground ginger, and ground black pepper. So let's work with let's go for about a teaspoon of each. Now, smoked paprika is actually one of the less spicy paprikas. And it's a great way of getting a bacon flavor into your dish without actually using bacon. I know, blasphemy, you want to use bacon normally, but if money is a little tight or you're trying to be a little more health conscious, smoked paprika is where you're at. So, put about a teaspoon of each. And let's go a little lighter on the black pepper since it can be pretty intense, especially since we're going to be doing red curry paste as well. This is going to be kind of a combined sort of Bangladeshi and Thai sort of hybrid dish. So let's do about a half a teaspoon of that. And where's my kosher salt? A couple of pinches of kosher salt. Just going to give that a stir. Ah, there is in fact a paper membrane on top of this, which I'm just now learning. I meant to do that, not really. So, just gonna stir that up. Yeah. And I'm just going to give that a quick taste with a different spoon. Yogurt 1, Catherine 0. Yeah, and here I thought paprika was only used to sprinkle over the top of deviled eggs. That's one of its uses. Okay. Definitely have the smoked paprika in there. I have no ginger. Just going to add a half a teaspoon to, got plenty of salt. And let's go with a quarter teaspoon of black pepper. And that should do it. So that was, one teaspoon ground smoked paprika, 1 1/2 teaspoons of ground ginger, and where's my black pepper? It's 3/4 teaspoon of black pepper. You made the "it needs something" face. Yep. I mean, thing is, while I do come up with the basic recipe of what I'm going to do, as well as the ingredients, and kind of eyeball what the proportions are, a lot of times I don't actually have the exact measurements for some of these things until I actually cook it. Thing is, you're going to want to do the same thing if you're making this at home, because for one, all ingredients vary based off of season, how long you've had it in your cupboard, as well as just personal taste. So I'm just going to give that another taste. Yeah, it's good. Okay. But it's also Greek yogurt, so it's kind of sour. But it's okay. That's why I see it as in the taste. Yeah, the thing is, you got to keep in mind cross-contamination as well. This, and as you notice, I used 2 different tasting spoons for it. So I wouldn't double dip. But also, you notice I'm not tasting stuff that has raw pork in it. Okay. Cool. So I just got that in the bag. Sealing that up. So yeah, you might end up mixing this together and go, that's a little too heavy on the paprika. Or I need a little bit more of that smoky taste in there. It's entirely up to you. But yeah, now I'm just gonna get that all worked into my pork cubes. Let's see, but raw meat is delicious. Raw beef is delicious. Raw fish is delicious, provided that it is an ocean fish. But raw pork, however, no. However, you'd be interested to know that what they normally tell you about what the safe temperature to serve pork at is actually a bit off these days, because there's not as much of an issue as there used to be with, say, trichinosis. So instead of serving your pork chops at 160 degrees, you actually kind of want to take it off the grill around 145, because, for one, meat tends to continue cooking after you take it off of the heat source. So if you take it off the grill at 160 degrees, it actually ends up overcooking when you take it off to let it rest. At around 145, it does continue to cook and gets a little bit more towards the safer temperature. And by more, I mean it gets to the safer temperature when you let it rest. But also, the pork is nice, succulent, and tender by the time. So you don't like your pork and chicken rare? No, I do not eat chicken carpaccio, thank you. But yeah. It may have a slight bit of pink on the inside, but no more than you would have in a medium, actually more of a medium well-cooked steak. So it's still nice and juicy, but still completely safe to eat. Okay, cool. Come on. Good stuff. All right. So, I think I might be able to, nah, I'm not going to be able to fit my veggies in that. So I'm just going to let this marinate in the fridge for about, let's give it about 15 to 20 minutes. I mean, realistically, you're going to want at least 30 minutes on that marinade. But since I understand that you guys only have so much patience and can watch me paint for so long, if you happen to be watching this video on YouTube after I post it, don't worry, I'm going to be cutting out all this painting bit out, so it'll skip right to the section where I start cooking again. So, I'm going to try to be better about that, so you don't have to watch like 4-hour-long videos of me trying to cook this thing when it's just me painting while stuff is marinating. So you guys understand. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get our stuff going. So let's go ahead and change our cameras to stovetop cam. just going to put this onto a medium heat. And since I forgot to season this cast iron pan, I'm just going to go ahead and put a layer of cooking spray on there to let it sink in while I wait for that to get hot. In the meantime, I'm just going to grab all of this meat out of the fridge. Massage that around a little bit more. And just wait for that to get nice and hot. So yeah. And in the meantime, I'm going to get some highlights on this sucker. I think probably with some of that hearth flesh. Your stream setup is so cool with the different scenes. Thank you so much. I've got this little Stream Deck thing, which I need to get working again, because it won't let me post anything in the chat, like any automatic buttons in the chat, like I did previously, which really sucks. I need to fix that, figure out what's going on with it. But, yeah, when I started doing cooking streams, my husband's kind of a technology nut. Probably need to... That's probably a bit lighter than I want to go. Let's go for the... What's it called? This stuff. Bugman's Glow instead. Yeah, he's a bit of a technology nut, so he saw this on Amazon and just decided to look up all the reviews on it, and it seemed to work out really well for my whole cooking setup, where I need to switch quickly without having to look at my keyboard. And especially if I'm doing painting and cooking as well. If you watch any early episodes of Munchies and Minis, I am an absolute mess because I tried setting up my paint station on my kitchen table, which is on the other side of these cameras. And the trouble with that is that I only have one tripod. So even if I did get an extra webcam, I would still have to buy another tripod, and just then I'd have to move everything around, and yeah, then look into the laptop screen. This setup, I have an extra monitor plugged into my, what's it called? Into my laptop, which is on the other table. So it's also safe from any spills, which is really nice. And my husband drilled in holes through our kitchen cabinets, initially to put LED strip lighting into it, kind of like you can see here. Should we switch that to the tripod so you can see better? Nope, you can't see that. Well, it's there. But yeah, oh yeah, that, I smell my pan all nice and hot. So now it's time to switch to the stove cam. Turn the heat down a little bit. And I'm just going to, I think I'm going to throw my, no. Going to put the pork, marinade and all, directly into the pan. Thing is, that marinade's got a nice bit of fat on it, so it's not going to stick for me all that much. And all that's going to cook down nicely. So, So I'm just going to set a timer for about 5 minutes. While I kind of stir some other stuff into there. I probably went with too much stuff. You could probably use about half the pork, but it'll be fine. Yeah. Break up, dang it. This is a learning process. So we're just kind of letting that brown. And I'm probably not going to need all those veggies, so right, this is where we alter our recipe. Do you ever cook with sous vide? I do. I just haven't really done it with this stream yet, admittedly. Yeah. And let's keep it to about 2 ounces mushrooms. But yeah, no, one of my favorite ways of cooking is sous vide. I've done it for Meal Prep Monday when I actually did Meal Prep Monday. I need to be better about doing Meal Prep Monday. It's just gotten so busy. But yeah, what I like to do a lot of times is whenever there's pork loin on sale, especially the stuff that's in the marinade, the little shrunk wrapped with marinade, I like to put that frozen directly into a pot with the sous vide machine. The key is that you just cook it longer. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's going in the trash. Okay. Yeah. Let's take. What are you doing, Ginger? What are you doing? My cat is circling my kitchen floor again. Yeah. Also love doing steak in the sous vide. Would have done that tonight if we actually had time, but I did not. Let me just put this back up so you can see what I'm doing. Just do a quick camera test. I think that's way too high up. We're fine. Right. Oh boy. Right. I have to catch my breath a little bit. I'm okay. Yeah, so, favorite way of doing a steak is sous vide. I have this one recipe for, well, a couple recipes for rack of lamb with using a sous vide machine. Partially because, while Game of Thrones was still going, I did a kind of premiere feast for the start of each season called Thronesgiving. And rack of lamb is kind of my specialty. But also, the nice thing about sous vide is that you can just set it and let it go and do its thing while you're preparing about 5 other dishes for about 17 people. Yeah, that was utter insanity. I mean, the very first Thronesgiving that I did, I ended up burning my dominant hand because I forgot that I had a stainless steel pan in my oven. All right. this some. Also, I'm going to add, hi Ginger, how are you? Meows. Is that right? Is that right? It's like, yeah, it's super nice, but having to bag and seal everything takes so much time. Actually, you don't necessarily have to do the, what's it called, the food saver shrink wrap type thing. Most of the time, I just use a freezer bag and use the pressure from the water at like kind of holding the bag open and just slowly lowering the bag into the water, because the water will push the air out of the bag as you're slowly submersing it. Seal it up, clip it to the edge of the pot. Don't have to do the whole what's it called thing. You don't have to do the thing. I know I'm being so helpful with my terminology here. Let's see, it's about 3 teaspoons. That's a half a tablespoon. Will this work? Let's use about a tablespoon of red curry paste to start with. Kind of stir that in. Smells fantastic, but I've got a feeling we're probably going to need a little bit more than that for this volume. It's like, yeah, the submersion method works, but I feel like a dummy for buying a food saver, so I have to use it to seal everything. Well, I mean, you don't have to. I mean, it's helpful if you're putting, say, a steak into the freezer, so, you can avoid freezer burn. Oh man, I'm actually smelling that paste right now. I think I'm going to do about a tablespoon and a half of curry paste. Cool. And now, I'm gonna add some coconut milk. Wow. What a time for my can opener to be not happy with me. Come on. Work, dang it. Alright. Got coconut cream off the top there. Ah! Bugger. Oh, goodness. My cat's gonna think it's the damn 4th of July. Even though I meant Christmas when I said that. Yep. The cat is going for the coconut milk. Hi, Ginger. That's not for you. No. Okay, you won this round, kitten. At least coconuts aren't toxic for you. Oh, goodness. Okay. Cool. So I'm just gonna stir that in. and let that simmer for, let's say, another 20 minutes. So, it smells good though. Not gonna lie. So, yeah, if you're wondering who I'm talking about, hey, princess, what you doing? What you doing? Hi, this is Ginger. She's my little 20-year-old calico kitty. And she is a little baby princess who loves eating people food. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? Oh, I know. Okay. Hey, we'll start over. There we go. There we go. Better? Better. Okay. Is that a bad hold, little one? I love you. Hey, you got pork-flavored coconut milk. Are you happy? Mwah. Little princess. Okay, princess. There you go. And now my face is covered in cat fur. Like you do. Ooh. Right. Okay, just gonna give that curry a quick stir before going back to painting. Probably lower the heat down some. It's kind of boiling level at the moment. Mostly I just want to get those sweet potatoes nice and soft. Actually, might be able to get more in there. There we go. Hi, Ginger. You still enjoying your coconut milk? Okay. Just trying to submerge that. Because the goal here is to be able to feed about 6 people with this mix. Oh, man, it smells good. Okay. So I've got about a medium-low heat right now. Hi. What you doing? Okay. And we're back. It's like, I think we're going to need a bigger pan. It's such a big pan, I totally mistook how much space all that was going to take. I know, I should know better. I probably didn't need nearly as much pork, but it'll all cook down. Especially the sweet potatoes. God, I hope those sweet potatoes do. Okay. So. Right. Painting. We were doing that. Okay. So. Right. Looks like that dried a nice color, so I'm gonna start hitting it with some shade so I can see what the heck I'm doing with some of this. If I actually sealed up my paints. Okay, what do I normally do shade with? I think I normally do it with my spotter? Yes. Spotter. Okay. And let's get some strong tone. Yes. So kind of my dark brown shade in there to get some of these armor pieces. So like I said, I can see what the heck I'm doing. Because as you can see, those nooks and crannies tend to get kind of lost when you're doing the initial base coat. So I don't rely entirely on shades to get my details in, but my eyesight's not exactly what it used to be, which is was pretty terrible to begin with, to be honest with you. So I don't care if it's cheating as long as I can see what the heck I'm doing. Right. I'm just gonna switch back to my chisel brush real quick, see if I can get a good layer of metallics on there. I'll check my curry real quick too. Oh yeah, I need to turn the heat down on that some. Yeah. It smells fantastic though. Just need to taste that curry because I might actually need some more paste and probably needs a bit of salt. Yeah. Definitely needs more curry paste. So yeah, now we're up to, let's say 2 tablespoons of red curry paste. And I'm gonna add a bit of fish sauce for my salty aspect, and apple cider vinegar for my acidic portion. Just a tiny bit though, because I'm also going to be adding some tomato paste to this as well. So that's roughly about a teaspoon. Just like my fish sauce. That you kind of add more to taste. Excellent. Really just want to pick the mushrooms out and munch on them. Yeah, I'm like that as well. I do enjoy my mushrooms. Oh, Here we go, back to painting. Okay. Just gonna get some gunmetal color, or lead belcher rather, onto my axes. And then I still kind of want to dry brush on so I get all that cool detail. And that just looks cool when you do that. There we are. Just get onto the hammer there. Now you see why I did that black coat first, so I don't have to hit it with the shade yet. To get all those nooks and crannies. And also need to get the palm of that as well. Alright. Is there any other metal on her that I can discern? Did I miss something with that backing? Possibly. No, that is in fact leather that she's wearing. Cool. Though I do want to get her pants in there. I totally missed those. The wife hates them, so that means all for me. Yeah, no, my husband and I love mushrooms. It's just my roommate's allergic to them, so if I'm cooking for the whole household, I have to make sure that whatever I'm serving my roommate and best friend is mushroom free. Luckily, it's not like anaphylactic shock like being in the same room as mushrooms, but I still like to be able to serve my friends food that they can eat. You know, that's generally the whole purpose of it. Oh, there's all these little spikes that I didn't even see. Well, maybe I'll get them with the spotter in just a second. Let's see, and where is that other pant leg? It's hiding behind... It's hiding behind that hammer. Just kind of get in between there with the blue. Okay. I will say my kitchen smells awesome right now. There's a little bit of metallic there I want to hit. Oh, yeah, I'm back. Don't fall over. Whee! Good thing there wasn't much paint on that brush. Okay. See, the Chinese place I worked at a stuffed mushroom, I would eat 2 to 3 bowls of them. Oh gosh, so I don't know if you were here for my Beach Dwarf Bites episode, but I was making stuffed mushrooms inspired by Merle High Church from the Adventure Zone. And so it was like, okay, what would a beach-dwelling dwarf like to eat up? So I'm thinking, okay, stuffed mushrooms for one, but I did kind of a ham and smoked oyster blue cheese stuffing with pineapple and seaweed salad on top. Oh, it was so good. Yeah, the folks from Flipping the Table actually got what was left over of that because James Stiver from Loot and Dagger is like the social nexus of the Atlanta D&D podcast scene, it seems like. Let's see, is my sweet potato tender yet? That's going to be the big key of whether this is finished or not. It's slightly tender, but probably can go a little bit longer. Oh my god, it smells so freaking good. I'm not gonna lie, this smells amazing. So, it's supposed to go for another 5 minutes. We'll see how it is in about 5 minutes. Lucky assholes. Yeah, but they're really sweet people. They are, as far as I know, at least 2 or 3 of them are going to be coming to the Wizard Party early November. I'm kind of... It's like, I think James knows everyone, or at least pretends he does. That's the thing about James Stiver. He is probably one of the kindest individuals I know. And that's why I always seek him out at various conventions. Because if I don't know anybody, he is just a positive influence, positive light, who can basically say hello to anyone who happens to be standing around and become friends with them in about 5 minutes. That's kind of how I met him. It